Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Before I begin with just a few announcements, I have a brief message from Dina. She thanks everyone for their well wishes. She's continuing to improve, and she looks forward to seeing everyone during the high holidays. The schedule for the services is printed on your tickets, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can access our schedule by going to our webpage, tbolm.org. Dina also asked me to remind you, if you are parking across the street, please use the crosswalks and look both ways. During the holidays, we will be having our annual food drive. We were really successful last year, and we're hoping to do even more this year. If you're attending services, you can drop off your food at that time, but there will also be 2 drive-by and drop-off dates from 12 to 2 on Sunday the 19th and Sunday the 26th of September. And don't worry about remembering what I just said. You can go to the beacon, which can be found on our website. Speaking of donations, please return your holiday pledge, again by mail or through our website. Your donations are absolutely critical to TBO. Finally, I'd like to thank our professional staff, Rabbi Mark Goldfarb, Cantor Ken Jaffe, Ray Irwin tickling the ivories, and a special appreciation goes out to our audio staff and our technical staff, Phil Carey, David Youngman, and Chris Jasraj. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you very much, Flo. And to Dina, our thoughts and prayers go out to you. We include you, of course, in our Misha Berach blessings as part of this evening service and your continued healing. In addition to those announcements, we have special Shabbat greetings coming from Ted and Noel Singer, Rita, and Bob Rubin, Jeff, and Wilma Shear. I wish to note that Jeff is a past president of our congregation and a current board member. And we have a wonderful opportunity for a Shabbat shout out to Brett Berger, son of Leslie Berger, who celebrates his 30th birthday. And so a special mazel tov there to Brett. And as you heard from Flo, we have a lot of work we would like to get done in our temple. Our dues do not cover our expenses, and so we are currently engaged in our silent high holiday appeal. To those of you who have sent in your donation, we are truly grateful. We are almost a third of the way there. We're almost halfway there. We hope to raise $60,000 so that we will be able to remodel our bathrooms. Those of us who are in the building know how desperately that is needed. And as we've taken a year and a half off from using our building, the bathrooms haven't gotten any better during that time. So hopefully with your help, as we continue to welcome everyone back into our building, including our religious school students and Hebrew lab students beginning on September 12th, it would be wonderful for us to be able to modernize our bathrooms. You know how excited the men got just a few years ago when we got that new urinal. How excited we were, how much we wanted to hold tours of the men's bathroom just to highlight the urinal. Well, we all know that the bathrooms themselves need a little bit of work. So with your help, we will get to that $60,000. And here's the bonus. If we're able to make that $60,000 mark, there will be no high holiday appeal on Yom Kippur. So if you can help us now, we can cut 15 minutes off of the service just for you. Think of this as a PBS NPR pledge week, although it's a little more than a week. And so we look forward to your continued support and your help. And you can find it, you can do this all online. This is so incredibly easy. I'm sure that Susan Carey will be helpful enough to post in the chat our link, TBOLM, which stands for Temple, Beth, or La Morada, TBOLM.org, O-R-G. You can go there, you can donate online, you don't even have to write a check, you don't even have to use postage, which is now what, 52 cents, 53 cents, whatever it is, 55 cents. So we will save you that. You can make your donation online. So as you can see from our High Holiday Appeal poster, we're at the $25,000 mark. We're almost halfway there, folks, and it's not even Rosh Hashanah. Please help us out. Thank you. And we have a lovely oneg for those of us who are here in-house, an oneg sponsored in honor of the 45th wedding anniversary of Mike and Cher Kritschmar, who are here with us this evening. You'll have the opportunity to see them in a moment. We will invite them up to help with our candles. But in the meantime, Cher and Mike, for you, our truly world famous, and it is absolutely world famous because we have viewers in Brazil and Japan, so this is world famous now. Our anniversary certificate, which reads Ani Ladodi Vadodi Li right at the top from Song of Songs. This is a verse that actually corresponds to this month, Elul. I am my beloved and my beloved is mine. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Rachel and Leah, bless Cher and Mike Kritschmar on the occasion of their 45th anniversary. May the love that binds them continue to be strong and lasting. May their hearts be filled with patience and understanding for one another. May their home continue to be a sanctuary built on devotion to each other and to God, Torah, and Israel. Celebrated this 27th day of Elul, almost the last day of the month. In the year 5781, corresponding to the third day of September, signed by myself, our Cantor, and our president, Dina Jastrock. To you, Mike and Cher, we extend to you all of our hearty mazel tovs and congratulations as our Cantor leads us in the singing of Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov.
Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov u'Mazel Tov Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov u'Mazel Tov Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov u'Mazel Tov Siman Tov Yelanu 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 Ulko Yisrael Yelanu Yelanu Ulko Yisrael Yelanu Yelanu Ulko Yisrael Yelanu Yelanu ולכל ישראל. מזל טוב.
If anything, we've learned the importance during this past year and a half of celebrating life's special moments. Mike and Cher, our hearts go out to you, and we'll have you up in just a moment to help us with the candles. Tonight's service will be projected on our screen. You don't even need to worry about the prayer books. And hopefully with the Cantor and I all on this side of the bema, it makes it all that more easier to be able to see the projection. Light a candle, drink wine. Softly the Sabbath has plucked the sinking sun. Slowly the Sabbath descends, the rose of heaven in her hand. How can the Sabbath plant a huge and shining flower in the blind and narrow heart? How can the Sabbath plant the bud of angels in a heart of raving flesh? How can the rose of eternity grow in an age enslaved to death? Light a candle, drink wine. Slowly the Sabbath descends, are in her hand the flower, and in her hand the sinking sun. We continue with the words of Shalom Aleichem, our opportunity to acknowledge the various messengers that have traveled with us, those of flesh and blood, those of spirit, those of memory, all the special messengers who have traveled with us this past week. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mi Melech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mi Melech, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachi hashalom, Malachi hashalom, Malachi elyon. Mi melech, Malachi hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barkuni l'shalom, Malachi hashalom, Malachi elyon. Mi melech, Malachi hamelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachi hashalom, Malachi hashalom, Malachi elyon. Mi melech, Malachi hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malach, Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Beautiful. That melody and those words will be with me for the rest of Shabbat. Thank you, Cantor.
Welcome, Rabbi.
I invite Sharon and Mike Kritchmar to join the Cantor and I here on the Bima so that they might help us continue to welcome Shabbat, the lighting of our Shabbat candles. As they make their way forward, I share this meditation. As we kindle these Sabbath lights, let us be moved by their light to bring light to those who dwell in darkness. Let us be moved by the warmth and glow of these lights so that we might be a source of compassion to those facing struggles. May these lights inspire us to acts of justice and peace.
Sav Vitzivanu Lahadlik Ner Shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, source of all being, who calls us to holy acts through mitzvot and inspires us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner lehadlik ner
And as promised, Cher and Mike, our world-famous anniversary certificate that you can frame at home and display proudly wherever you would like. Mazel tov. Thank you. Mazel tov. A child wandered in the woods so often, her father became worried. Her father had asked, "Why? Why do you go to the woods so often?" And the child replied, "To find God." The father reacted out of his logical thought processes. "But God is the same everywhere, in the forest and right here at home." The girl countered with a wise and theologically sophisticated idea. "But Father, I am not the same everywhere." We continue with the words of our Baruch Hu, our call to worship. I invite us to rise as we are able.
La 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 Baruchu et Adonai Hamevorach Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Va'ed Hamevorach Leolam Va'ed.
By the way, for those who would prefer to follow our service in the prayer books, you will see the page numbers in the upper left-hand corner of the slides. On page 30 in our prayer books and on the screen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvona meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch alenu, leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. As the sun sinks and the colors of the day turn, we offer a blessing for this twilight. For twilight is neither day nor night, but in between. We are all truly twilight people. We can never be fully labeled or defined. We are many identities and loves, many genders and none. We are in between roles, at the intersection of histories, or between place and place. We are crisscrossed paths of memory and destination, streaks of light swirled together. We are both, neither, and all. May the sacred in-between of this evening suspend our certainties, soften our judgments, and widen our vision. May this in-between light illuminate our way to the God who transcends all categories and all definitions. May the in-between people who come to pray be lifted up into this twilight. We cannot always define, but we can always say a blessing. We may be seated. Ahavat olam, with everlasting love, hast thou loved the house of Israel, Beit Yisrael, amechavta, ahavat olam, ahavat olam, ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, amecha, Beit Yisrael, amecha avta, ahavat olam, avta. Torah u'mitzvot,
Atim Otanu limadeta Alkein Adonai Eloheinu Yeshachbeinu Uvkumeinu Nasiach bechupecha V'nisma b'divrei Toratecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha Le'olam va'ed Le'olam va'ed Yihem chayenu ve'orech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam v'layla be'avatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael
I invite us to rise as we are able. You, the one from whom on different paths all of us have come, and to whom on different paths all of us are going, make strong in our hearts what unites us. Help us to build bridges across all that divides us. United, help us to rejoice in our diversity, at one in our witness to your peace, a rainbow of your glory.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed.
We may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
There are times when each of us feels lost or alone, adrift and forsaken, unable to reach those next to us or to be reached by them. And there are days and nights when existence seems to lack all purpose, and our lives seem brief sparks in an indifferent cosmos. Fear and loneliness enters into the soul. None of us is immune to doubt and fear. None of us escapes times when all seems dark and senseless. But then, at the ebb tide of the Spirit, the soul cries out and reaches out for companionship.
כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
And just in case you didn't know, Rosh Hashanah is around the corner. If the melody didn't alert you to that fact. The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. On Shabbat we try to become attuned to the holiness in time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world.
בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי אותי לעולם. עמים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית
Genuine prayer is an event in which a person surpasses him or herself. A person hardly comprehends what is coming to pass. Its beginning lies on this side of the word, but the end lies beyond all words. At times, all we do is utter a word with all our heart. Yet, it is as if we lifted up a whole world. It is as if someone unsuspectingly pressed a button and a gigantic wheelwork were stormily and surprisingly set in motion. We continue with the words of our tefillah. I invite us to rise as we are able, as we continue with words of our tradition, our prayers, challenging us to see ourselves in a chain of tradition that spans over 4,000 years, challenging us to always continually reshape and re-understand our understanding of God, and prayers that call us to do holy acts in the world around us. Adonai sefatai tifkaf ufi yagi tehilatecha la la Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Hasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh HaKol,
וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מחלקי חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We may be seated. The holiness of this day is not for this day alone. We must make it overflow into all of our minutes, to hallow our weekdays from these sacred moments, and hour by hour make the world a sanctuary where every human soul may be at home. Oh, may the awe we feel at times of miracle of one another united in prayer, may that all be with us tomorrow. Keep tenderness in our words, our touch, and our look. Praise be Adonai for the Sabbath and its holiness. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Peace, shalom, is not the absence of difficulties, but rather the handling of difficulties without the loss of balance. Shalom is not the absence of tension, but rather the acceptance of it as part of the way. Shalom is not the absence of war, but the careful waging of war without losing one's balance. Shalom is not passive nonviolence, but rather active confrontation with the truth. Shalom is the ability to see the grain of life and to act in accord with it, to discover the effortless effort, action in tune with the way of the universe, is the secret of both peace and of power. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom.
Yatahu melech לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Israel, asim leolam, leolam,
We extend our prayers of shalom, of wholeness and peace to all who have found their wholeness, their shalom, their peace disturbed, even shattered by the challenges that they are facing. In a moment, our Cantor will lead us in our Beit Shabbat. I share this prayer for all of us. May the Eternal One who blesses all life bless and strengthen all of us who struggle against illness. May we whose lives are touched by illness be blessed with faith, courage, love, and caring. May we experience the support and the sustenance of family and friends, companions, and community. May we be granted restful nights and days of comfort. We pray for a refuah shlema, precious moments of healing, and a sense of wholeness in body and in soul. May those who care for the sick, with their hands, their voices, and their hearts, be blessed with courage and stamina. May those who pursue healing through medical skill and knowledge be blessed with insight, patience, and compassion. May all of us, the sick and the well together, find courage and find hope.
שברך אבותינו ואימותינו, אברהם ושרה, משה, אהרון ומרים, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. Analea but Sora. Heal them and bless them with strength and spirit, with laughter and life, with courage and grace. Akadosh Baruch Hu, restore them like streams in the desert. Heal them with body and spirit. Strengthen them with patience and guard them with compassion. Renew their vision and bless them with peace. Irfuat hanefesh urfat haguf v'nomar Amen.
A Cherokee elder was sitting with his grandson talking about life. "There are two wolves fighting inside me all the time," the grandfather said. "The good wolf fights for love and honesty and compassion. The bad wolf fights for hatred and jealousy and greed." As he spoke, his grandson's eyes grew larger and larger. "Grandfather," he asked, "which wolf will win?" The elder paused for a moment and said, "The one that I feed." We take a moment, an opportunity of reflection and prayer as we consider which of our wolves we feed.
Shalom, shalom במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, אמן. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, אמרו אמן. ועל כל ישראל, אמן.
As always, Cantor, most beautiful music. Thank you for uplifting our Shabbat with your words and your melodies and your passion. Dr. Irwin, thank you as well for tickling the ivories as many years here. This is your bar mitzvah year. You realize that?
No, it's 13.
Yeah, you're 13 years old here. Today you are a piano player. We are a fountain pen, yeah, but he's a musician. Today you are a baton. No, it takes us longer, right? Anyway, well, we finally made it, folks. This is the last Shabbat of 5,781. We are standing at the threshold of a new year. Monday night, we welcome 5,782. May it be a better and sweeter year than 5781 and even 5780. It's been a very, very strange time. I think it's kind of wonderful that we celebrate our new year in the fall. It gets us out of that end of December, January kind of coldness. You really can't quite tell the difference between, December, January. They all kind of run together, but you can feel change in the air when we get to the fall. Indeed, this past week I was somewhat puzzled and amazed, but also very happy that our temperatures were slightly cooler here than what they had been. And even though it's warm in the day, it really cools down very nicely in the evenings. That touch of fall in the air, we can just begin to see in my neighborhood some of the tree leaves beginning to turn. The apples on my apple tree are almost ripe, ready enough to hopefully turn into some sort of a pie. There is, some sort of sense of, if the squirrel, my father hates squirrels. He has several bird feeders and has tried a whole variety of different techniques to keep the squirrels from eating his bird food. I now share his same disdain of those furry rodents. I've got a squirrel that has taken a bite out of many of the apples, which ruins them. Several years ago, I caught it eating a tangelo in the tree, peeling off and eating my tangelo. So I now join with my father in my absolute disdain of squirrels. Unlike my father, however, I don't do a whole lot to keep them out of the trees. I'm not investing a whole lot of my time and energy. I just shake an angry fist at them. And Mandy, of course, tries her best to catch them. She chases them around and barks at them, and periodically I have to go out and remind her to stop because the neighbors get tired of, dogs barking, as do I. So, the squirrels are there. I just got to learn to live with them. So what I've done is I keep trying to set the ones that they've taken a bite out of and have fallen onto the ground. I put them on the fence so that as it runs across, it can stop and eat those. Finish eating it, Don't just take a bite out of it and leave it. Go ahead, eat the rest of it since you've already ruined it. Doesn't seem to be working. Anyway, with Rosh Hashanah in the fall, we have a chance to kind of get away from all the hubbubaloo of, the end of December, the beginning of January. We don't have to deal with, some sort of a ball falling. We can instead have the opportunity to welcome this time for really what it is. And in Judaism, the big challenge to us is Judaism asks us, okay, guys, congratulations, you've made it to Rosh Hashanah. You another year older. Are you another year wiser? That's the big question with Rosh Hashanah. Are you another year wiser? We set aside this time for reflection and introspection so that we might understand that as human beings, we are not programmed robots. We have the ability to make choices. We have the ability to choose how we respond to a particular situation or a particular individual. We have the opportunity to choose. It's a very powerful freedom we have, and it's one that comes with tremendous responsibilities. I guess if I might borrow a phrase from Stan Lee, with great freedom comes great responsibility. Any Spider-Man fans here? No? Alex? No? Yeah? Okay. All right. And so with this freedom comes the responsibility to make those choices. Indeed, our tradition understands that the whole situation in the Garden of Eden was a big setup because Adam and Eve had not demonstrated any choice in what they wanted to be. Up until that time, everything had been going along just fine. It didn't rain. Water bubbled up from the ground to water all of the plants and everything. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't too cold. We didn't need any clothes. Therefore, it was a perfect, comfortable temperature. And if we were hungry, All we had to do was reach out and grab something to eat, a piece of fruit off of the tree. Some of our rabbis reason that when human beings are presented with everything they need to get through the day, well, they kind of turn into teenagers, you know? They sit in your house, they eat your food, their clothing is laundered and returned back to their room clean. They don't pay anything for rent, electric, water. They're just there. And God reasoned that, well, look, if this is what human beings choose to become, then okay. But so far, according to some of our rabbis, God says, I haven't seen them make any kind of a choice. So tell you what, serpent, not the devil, this is a serpent, it's our friend. Go offer and see what happens. And we know the serpent is our friend because when the serpent tells Eve that the fruit is actually good to eat, Eve does not say, a talking snake, and try to kill it. And so the snake is our bud, not the devil. Indeed, this whole thing is a setup. Eve eats it. Oh, this is fine. This is wonderful. Offers it to Adam. Adam eats it. Oh, okay. Wow, look at this. And then God asks the big question. Did you eat of the fruit of the tree of which I told you not to eat? Now, up until this point in time in the Garden of Eden, there is no sin, there's no transgression, there's nothing. We are just acting as human beings do. Now, God asks the question, and this is where we blow it. Adam, the hunter-gatherer, Adam, says to Ribono Shel Olam, the creator of the universe, the woman, she made me eat it. But that's okay, women, you don't come off any better. Eve says to Ribono Shel Olam, the creator of the universe, the serpent, he duped me, he tricked me. This is where we blow it. Instead of saying, wow, because look, what did we eat? We ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This is what we consumed. So now we have knowledge. What did we get with that knowledge? We realize that we don't have claws, we don't have scales, we don't have any kind of armor, we can't fly, we can't run very fast. Everything around us can kill us. The lions, the tigers, the bears, oh my, the snakes, yes, the cliffs, yes, all of that can kill us. And this is what we learned. And we did not say, wow, it would have been better if we'd never ate this fruit of knowledge because we could have lived in our ignorance and all would have been fine. But we ate it and now we know that the world is not exactly the safest of place. Gravity can be a harsh mistress. Ask any one of us who have fallen. Gravity is harsh. And this is where we blew it. Instead of accepting responsibility, we passed the buck. We blamed each other and the snake. And we don't have to look too far to see that human nature has not grown too much since the time of the Garden of Eden. We continue to blame others for the situation in which we find ourselves. We blame immigrants, we blame Democrats, we blame Republicans, we blame those people, we blame the other. Never do we look at ourselves and say, wait a minute, what have I done to contribute to this? And I think the most amazing thing about this whole Garden of Eden incident is that when Eve goes to eat the fruit, God does not say, I said no. Our rabbis ask, why doesn't God stop the human beings? because that's not part of the covenant that exists. God is not the controlling deity. God did not want robots. God wanted intelligent, thinking human beings, partners, to act in the process of creation. God can't stop Adam and Eve. God can't stop us from making bad choices or from steering us to make the right choices. This is this power of free will. That is all that we have, the ability to choose how we act, how we respond. And as we turn another year older, our tradition asks us, will you continue to make the same mistakes that you've been making? Will you continue to bang your head against the wall? Will you continue doing the same thing, expecting a different result? You know what the definition of that is, right? Insanity. Or will you recognize that change is the only constant in our lives? That's it. The world does not stop. Life does not stop for us. We can either change with it, or we can try to remain stagnant and let life pass us by. Which is why our tradition says to us, Uvacharta bechayim, choose life. Which means we continually have to change. I know. That gets very old and very tiring. Haven't I achieved enough? Haven't I reached that plateau? Well, no, we haven't. And life reminds us of that. So as we prepare to ease into Rosh Hashanah and these 10 Yamim Noraim, we call them the high holidays. That's not what Judaism calls them. Judaism calls it Yamim Noraim, days of awe. Why are these days of awe? Because they are awful and they are awesome. They are awful because we have to look back at our past and recognize that as a human being, I can change. And they are awesome because I'm presented that very opportunity to make that change. May we have the courage and the strength to do teshuvah, to make a change, to do some repair of ourself and our relationships. May we, in so doing, inscribe ourselves in the book of life. Shana tova umituka, everyone. May we be blessed with a better and a sweeter year ahead. And may we make the choices to bring about that sweetness. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And on this Shabbat, the last Shabbat of Elul, but the first Shabbat of September, we want to have a chance to recognize and acknowledge all those wonderful events that are taking place in people's lives. If you are celebrating an anniversary, a birthday, a mortgage burning, a final car loan payment, a graduation, anything happy in your lives this month, please join the Cantor and I on the bima so that we might acknowledge that with appropriate blessings.
Nobody else?
Birthdays, anniversaries for those who are here with us. For those of you joining with us on our YouTube channel, we would love very much to include you as well. So I invite you to stand where you are so that we might have a chance to share this blessing with you as well. The microphone will come to you, and I invite you to please state your name, what you're celebrating, and if you're so bold, how many times you've been celebrating that happy event.
My name's Mike Kritchmar, and this is my lovely wife, and we are celebrating 45 great years.
Cher Kritchmar, again, 45 years, and Mike and I met here at Temple Beth Or.
Temple Beth Or. Oh,
Wow.
We did.
it's a sacred ground.
It is very sacred.
Harry Jacobs, and on the 15th of September, I will be 80 years of age.
Mazel tov. That is wonderful. In addition to, thank you. In addition to those, we have the following anniversaries taking place within our community. Dr. Bob and Deli Harris. Mike and Cher Kritchmar, as you heard. Oh, I didn't, I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Mark Goldfarb. And tomorrow, my wife Deborah and I are celebrating 39 years of marriage. Erno and Charlotte Ross, Dr. Jeffrey and Susan Winston, Raphael and Rose Eskenazi, Steve and Debbie Grossman, Jean and Nancy Griffin, Jean and Robin Fox, Dr. Michael Stesney and Cynthia Tesler, and Barry and Laura Block all celebrate anniversaries this month, and birthdays this month go out to Marlene Palmer, Debbie Grossman, Brian Goldstein, Carol Goldmark, Lily Kaplan, Marcy Fry, Joan Dengrove, David Fishman, Christine Gunther, Harry Jacobs, we heard from Harry, there you are again, Chance Stasny, Kenneth Sealander, Neil Schindel, Pat Almada, Alexandria Stasny, William Richmond, Susan Carey, Donald Henschel, Susan Winston, Sandra Scharf, Danny Morris, Donna Burglas Hess, and Deneen Dyson. D in the office. Wow, this is wonderful. So, for all of these wonderful occasions, we join with our Cantor in our blessing of gratitude, our Shehechianu, praising God for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling to join with everybody celebrating these wonderful occasions this month.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechayanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechayanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh
Mazel tov to all of you, and to all of you on YouTube as well. Mazel tov, congratulations. And it really says something, Harry, when a woman of 101 extends to you a happy mazel tov. So, you know, she said you made it. With that, we move to the conclusion of our worship service with the words of the Adoration, the Elenu, which can be found in our prayer books on page 282 and on the screens in front of us. I invite us to rise as we are able.
Elenu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
sensitive screen. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, those who live on in our hearts and our memories in the place we call Olam Haba, the world to come. We call to mind one for whom we are observing the Shloshim, the 30-day period since her death, Evelyn Levin, the mother of Marcia Bronstein. And Marcia, our hearts go out to you. To her name, we link the names of those whose yahrzeits have occurred during this past week. Carolyn Nowakowski Sane, Thomas Sane, Hannah Cudler, Esther Seidman, Bonya Shore, Pauline Silberman, Helen June Fox, Kelly David Pearl, Dorothy Stern, Dorothy Perrin, Kate Janae Coe, Jack Lewis Levy, Gisela Spiegel, Jeanette Jacobs, Robert Patterson, Rachel Hawkins, Robert Weber, Helen Ziskin Goldberg, Rabbi David Jacobs, Raphael Ursus, Julius Davis, Samuel Klein, and Max Lewis Levoot. To those names, we link the names of those for whom we are observing the Kaddish period: Marlene Bilsma, Bernard Haber, Sam Ursus, Rosalie McKenzie, Hal Bruce Hamlin Jr., Joseph Rofe, Mildred Sane, Harold Weber, Karen Copeland, Rita Silverman, Sandra Pascas, Marlene Angel, Leslie Pascas Amador, Edith Sorrow, Concha Chavez, John Young, Gerald Kotkin, Ross B. Shear, Jenna Gordon, Doug Austin, Edith Chess, Berta Ursus, Anna Phillips, Malcolm Dipperstein, Mark Bornstein, Leah Levine, and Vicky Emery. If there's a loved one whom you are remembering, I invite you to share that name at this time. To those that we have named aloud, and to those that we keep named in the quiet places of our hearts and memories, we link as well the names and memory of the men and women of our armed forces who have given their lives for our liberties and our freedoms, those who have given their lives for our safety here at home, members of our police, our firefighters, and other first responders, and members of the Israeli Defense Forces who have given their lives for the hope of peace. To their names, we also link the over 636,000 Americans who have died from COVID-19, as well just this past week, the 761 Americans who have died by gun violence, 28 of them children. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing, as we share together the words of our Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach yiratei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, Shemei dekudesha berichu, la'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, Alenu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. May all of us who mourn and all of us who are bereaved, may we find through God's eternal presence a source of strength, courage, and hope, above all a source of shalom, of peace. Let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
We conclude this evening's service with the singing of Ein Kelohenu, an oldie but a goodie.
And this, as we come to our season of return, sometimes nice to return to some of those older melodies that bring us back to sometimes to our childhood and to all those memories when we were together with our family when we were younger, and of course that returning hopefully helps us to return to who we are truly. Ein Kelohenu, ein Adonenu, ein Kemokeinu, ein Kemoshienu, mich Eloheinu, mich Adonenu, mich Kemokeinu, mich Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Kemokeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, אתה הוא מלכנו, אתה הוא מושיענו.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We want to have a chance to do our Kiddush here. And then when you enter our social hall, please feel free to pick up a glass of juice or wine, as is your preference.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kinishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית ויום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר יציאת מצרים באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
And with our challah, we are grateful to God for all that sustains us physically and nourishes us spiritually as we share our motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, המוציא לחם מן הארץ
B'tei
avon.
Bon appetit. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
We'll see you in the social hall for the Oneg, hosted by the Kritchmars in honor of their 45th anniversary. Woo!
Shabbos, sir? Shabbos, sir.